What's up, everybody? I'm so excited about this week. We are focusing on vulnerability. And I'm just extra excited because this word is something that we need so much right now. As you see, there's a heart on it, which means this is just the heartbeat of the Light Lessons bag. And I couldn't think of a better guest to bring on for this word specifically. This woman feels like somebody that I've known for my entire life. We feel like we have known each other forever, maybe a past life, we're not sure. We met doing the Share the Mic initiative. Share the Mic, Pass the Mic is about creating a space for Black women's voices, experiences, and stories to be told and to be heard. And all of you were so amazing, and just how hungry you were to receive everything that Valisia had to say. She was the most incredible. I want to encourage everybody to go and watch the live stream that she did. It was absolutely incredible, and it was complete and raw vulnerability. So I knew that I had to have her on this week's episode of Vulnerability, and I'm so excited she's here. And we're gonna do something a little different this week. We are not gonna start with the resume. We are just gonna get right down to it. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Light Lessons with Sierra, this time featuring my long lost sister, Valisia LeKae.
This ponytail. She needs to be higher. There she is.
This is a professional taping we're doing.
This is a professional taping. We're so professional around here. I just want to get right into it with you.
Okay.
Because it's vulnerability. So I just want to start with how we met. Because that just encapsulates vulnerability.
I first came upon the Share the Mic experience on Twitter based on what Hollywood was doing. And I love the experience of that. And I actually really was like, okay, maybe I should reach out to a few girls to see if they want to do this. And then I got scared and was like, oh, they'll say no. So then I just left it alone. And then someone sent me a text about, oh, this is happening. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. I wanted to do it a week ago, but I was too afraid. I sent Dion a text message, and she immediately responded, yes, I would love for you to do it. And I got scared again. Let you know. I got scared after I shot her. I sent her the text, and she sent this email with like all of these things, like, you know, because Dee is very organized and very well put together, and she is on it. So I was like, well, it's tomorrow. Like, I don't have time to come up with a dossier of like things I want to talk about. So I said, all I can speak about is my truth. And as a Black woman in this business, we all have different experiences, but we all have felt some sort of way that we were trapped into a space, or we felt injustices. There were some instances where I felt like, that probably wouldn't have happened to a white woman. I think more importantly for me, I just wanted to create a space where in the world I had not been, because in the world, being a Black woman, we don't often get to be vulnerable. Everyone expects us to be strong. Everyone expects us to be, power. And the thing is, on the stage, because we do go through so many different transformations on the stage and we're playing characters, those things come out very easily. But none of us are on the stage right now. So we're not flexing that muscle.
We're not doing what we do right now. And as scary as vulnerability is, there's something within us that's like, I need to be vulnerable today, without realizing. It's like a subconscious. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And for me, being on the stage is about spreading love and giving love. I think it is a part of my purpose. It's an avenue where I get to live my purpose. And that road, none of us are taking today. None of us are on the stage. And so what I feel like now in this space, what happens is that every day I get to wake up and express myself and give even more love, because I'm connecting with even more people. The group may be small, but they're from all over the world. Not everybody has the advantage of going to Broadway or has a regional theater in their community. And so this way, I know that by sharing my story and being vulnerable, which is a place I don't get to abide in on a daily basis, I knew that a lot of people would gravitate to that. Black people and white people. Your light workers are amazing, by the way. And a lot of them are from the Philippines and from South Africa and all different places of the world where things are going on, where movements are happening, where people are feeling abandoned and rejected and, thrown away to the wolves. And so they're having to do the fight on a daily basis, every second. And for one moment, they just want to come in and just let down their guard and just be at peace and not have to put on a face. They want to cry. They want to express their emotions. And so I wanted everybody to just feel that from a human perspective, you know, soul to soul, as I would say. And I think people related to that.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is we can smell when it's put on vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, especially us. We're like, no, that don't feel right.
Yeah.
No? Okay, so the definition in the dictionary, which I'm obsessed with doing now with these.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's great. You know, you have this light lesson and it's pretty and as a heart, but what does it actually mean?
Mm-hmm.
So vulnerability in the dictionary is the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. Now, hold on. I'm not going to argue with that definition, but it's not just being exposed to being harmed, attacked. Isn't it also, if you're exposed to that level of fear and harm and possible being attacked, you are also exposed to the other side, which is the possibility of great love and acceptance and belonging and truth.
Yes, it's a willingness. You know what I mean? It is a willingness to be open in all spaces. Is really like being in the state of the soul, your most purest, simplest, truest space. And that's where vulnerability lies for me, deep down in the soul. And so it is a willingness to say, I am going to be here as pure as I can possibly be, as truthful as I can possibly be, in the simplest form, not putting on airs. I'm not going to be all dolled up. I'm going to let you see me as raw as I can be. And it's not necessarily always an attack. You know what I mean? It's just like, how are you going to receive me at this moment? What do you have to say to me? I don't have to always receive that as an attack. But for me, just being in that open space of saying, okay, I am ready, I'm prepared to accept or receive whatever is coming towards me. And I am going to be in my most purest space to honor that, but also respond to it. Not every day in the walk of life, we get to do that, because people can look at my brown skin walking down the street and get afraid. And so I have to do an adjustment to that. You know, there are different places in America or around the world where people just don't like the color of my skin. But I still have to walk into that space, whether that space is a space of vulnerability and fear, whether that space is of vulnerability and pride because of who I am. You know, it's all sorts of things. I mean, I love that definition in the textbook, but I don't think they were thinking about my people.
I think they were being very small-minded on all these levels, because, and you're absolutely right. It is because you are saying that you are going to honor and receive it.
Honor and receive, being in that space where you're just an open space saying, whatever you're going to say to me, I'm going to receive, but I'm going to respond in the purest, simplest, most truthful part of me, which is the soul, where my soul lies. And so, you know, so to say that in the dictionary, I'm sure Webster is doing his thing right now, but I don't think it necessarily applies to everyday life, in my opinion. And particularly for Black women that don't get to necessarily hold that space on a normal basis, you know?
Will you talk some more about that? You touched on it a little bit, of even in the industry, people don't expect you to be vulnerable. Can you speak on that, about what that is?
It's not necessarily industry specific. You know, life sort of shapes everything that we do.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, my mother, and I always use the word strong Black woman, because I just saw her constantly working, constantly fighting, constantly doing everything she possibly could to raise 2 children. You know, I tell the story of how my mother, my brother and I are probably 3 or 4 years old. My mom standing at the door about to walk into our house, and it's nighttime. Somebody walks upon our porch, snatches her purse, And she immediately goes to run after them, leaving us on the porch. Now, when my mom told me this story, I said to her, why would you go run after him? Everything in that purse could be replaced. And she said, well, when you steal my purse, you steal the possibility of my child eating. When you steal my purse, you steal the chance for me to put gas in my car to take my child to school. When you steal my purse, you steal the chance of me to put clothes on my child's back. Yes, it can be replaced, but I'm not going to let you take that from me. So I was like, well, you're just so strong. And so I grew up with that. I grew up with that type of mom. Yeah. But there were quiet moments where I would peek around the corner, and she was her most vulnerable self. And it's those moments that I want to tap into more often in my life, where she just got to let her hair down, you know, wash off she used Vaseline to take her makeup off, take off her rings and her jewelry, and just weep to her soul, the most purest, simplest place that she can find where she would find comfort. We don't get to see that every day because life doesn't allow us to do that. There's so much in this country that has history of racism and slavery, and how we as Black people weren't treated as full-fledged human beings, that we carry that on our backs day to day. Yeah. And so we're trying to find spaces where we can just say, hey, I am just like you. Yeah. I cry, I bleed. My grandmother used to say all the time, when you cut me, I bleed just like you. And there is pain there. And so I'm just trying to get to that space in my walk of life. And every day I'm finding a new opportunity to do that. And I know a part of me took on the fact that she was very strong. You know, you pass those things on from generation to generation because her generation had to deal with much more than my generation did. My mother grew up in the 50s. My grandmother was born in the 30s in Mississippi, of all places, and Tennessee. So you can only imagine the layers, you know, that she has to take with her on a daily basis. And so I just want to strip it down, and get to the core of my soul.
I think at the core of all of us, we are these exposed, vulnerable people, but society has told you, no, thank you. I need to see you as this and this only. That helps me, you know, society. So where do you go to get that strength to?
Right to prayer.
Ooh.
Right to prayer and meditation. I lived on the Upper West Side of New York City for a very long time, and once in Chelsea, and the city is always a buzz, you know? And so for me, I always wanted and tried to get up extremely early because the city is quiet then. I'm usually up about 5 or so in the morning. The dogs start to jiggle and shake. And so I like to get up when it's really quiet, find my chair near the corner, and just go right to my prayer and meditation. I talk to God like I talk to my friends. Lord, you know what I need. I am here right now. I don't know how to do this. Give me a way. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? You know, it's like I just go to that place with him, because here's the deal. God, universe, she, however you want to categorize her, the tree, whatever you need is good for you. But for me, it's the spirituality. My connection with God takes me there every time. And it gives me the opportunity to just say, God, how am I going to be? How am I going to exist today in this world? And while I'm existing, how can I be of service? That's the start of my day. Different situations shape experiences throughout the day, but at the core of who I am, that is where I go. I am nothing without my connection to God. I am nothing without that prayer. It's literally like putting on my armor every day. You know, we open our books, whether it's Super Soul or Jesus Calling or Return to Love or The Course in Miracles, we can literally flip it open and find a passage that will direct us to where we need to be at that moment.
That's right.
And that's that still small voice just speaking to us to say, I want to work on you today. It's actually a lot like what you're doing. I mean, we take our little bag, we dip right in, we pull out that card. Mine was fully present today. You know what I mean? So we do those things, and I add that to my meditation now, because it's another layer of what I can work on that day.
We don't actively set out each day going, today I'm going to be vulnerable, unless that is what we're really working on, and it's been brought to our attention. But it comes like in the quiet and the stillness and the asking, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? Do you know what I like to add to that, Valisia?
That's from the Course in Miracles, by the way.
Yes, this. And what I like to add to that is, what would you have me hear and from whom?
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
Look at you. Okay, I'm gonna have to write that in my Course in Miracles book.
That's like, wait, there's one more thing, because a lot of the times we're saying all this stuff.
And you said it. You know, what I love about conversations is that there are two aspects to it. There's the sharing and there's the listening. It's opportunities to learn, you know, and it's one of those things. Who I know your favorite person, like I always go back to, every time that I talk to any of your light workers or new people that I'm experiencing, I always call them and let them know that, hey, you are my teacher. We are both the teacher and the student. And I think that's a wonderful way, Wayne Dyer, wonderful way to go through life. Because it always puts you on the tip of seeking, learning, yearning,
Yes.
something greater than yourself. And you
Great.
always want to be in that sort of space, knowledge and making yourself be more empowered. Being vulnerable allows you to receive all of those things. Some people need a midday check-in, and sometimes I'm just walking around my house praying. Let's be real.
Let's get real.
My husband's
Especially
always
during this time. We're just praying all the time. Ask me when I'm not praying.
exactly, and he's like, "Who are you talking to? Who am I not talking to at this point?"
All the goddesses. Come
Yes.
on, everyone. This is the
Like
whole
everybody. Come on, ladies, let's get information like everybody.
You touched on this a bit when we were talking about your story in the live stream that you did within what you went through during Motown. And can I please have this, like one day or something like that, or please can I have just a couple of things that help you? And so I do think that one of the tasks that we need to do as humans is listen to that more when people ask for what they need, because it's just getting you in the space that's allowing you to be your most vulnerable and whole self. Would you agree with that?
I think, first of all, for someone to ask for help, for me, I'm very independent growing up. So a lot of times I will just do what I need. And if we want to get biblical, the Bible says you don't have because you don't ask, you know, if you want to go that route. So me particularly, if I'm going to ask you for something, it's mean I've already done everything that I can do in my power.
Yep.
And so I'm asking for a hand to assist me in this matter, only to make the whole picture come together even more perfectly. When it comes to the job matter, I can't do all of these things by myself. I'm going to try my darndest to make them happen. But now I've come to a fork in the road, and I'm going to need some assistance. I can't do this alone. Nothing happens on earth alone.
That's right.
You know, even to the point to where I've gotten, people have prayed for me to get here. So that I have to reach back and ask for help from my ancestors. What, you can't help me human? You can't help me human? Like, seriously? Like the ancestors are like, girl, come on, let's do it. Like, come on, what you need? And then I come to a human and they're like, I don't think so. Right. So it's one of those things that people need to understand. Like, it's a part of the course of life. We all need assistance in some matter. And believe me, I have well thought out why I'm asking you for this.
That's right.
Particularly when it comes to leading a show. You know, you sit down and think about all the puzzle pieces to bring things together. What are we going to need? How am I going to articulate this? You're not only leading a show, you're leading on and off the stage. You walk outside of that stage door, leadership is still going on.
That's right.
And I just want people to understand that asking for help, one, is not a bad thing. But also, if someone asks you for that, be in a place of honor that someone wants your knowledge, your attention, and be of service in order to respond to that person.
Be of service in order to respond to that person.
Yeah, it's just simple. You know, we are all here to be in service to one another, to love one another, to help each other. If this pandemic doesn't teach us this, I don't know what will.
We have so much to unpack here. And there is a lot of vulnerability that's coming up for all of us. We're learning that we're either willing to be vulnerable or not. And really taking time to reflect.
And you know something about this time and being vulnerable, a lot of us have to ask for help.
Oh, I know.
A lot of us who didn't think we probably needed, a lot of us who have been operating in the space where we haven't been our most truest, simplest forms of ourselves, A lot of us who have been strong need to ask for help this time. It's just really breaking us all down. You know, we all need a good old renovation, you know, and some of us just needs to be knocked down and built back up. You know what I mean? But like, we're all in that space of, we need something.
Yes.
We need something. Even the governors are asking us to do our part. So it's not just the poor, the weak, the tired. It's all of us. It's the wealthy, it's the rich, it's the poor, it's the strong, it's the working, it's the non-working, it's the actors, it's the doctors and the teachers and the essential workers. We're all being asked to do our part. You know what I mean? I just want you to be raw and pure. Just do this for me. We're all stepping into a place of vulnerability. A lot of us don't like to take what they call handouts.
Mm-hmm.
No, we've probably worked for a lot of this stuff. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
So we need assistance.
Yes.
And we have to be vulnerable to fill out the paperwork, to get online to apply for unemployment, to go to some of these food banks. You know, there are a lot of single mothers out there who have been working 2 or 3 jobs just so they can't go to a food bank, just so they can put food on their tables. And now we're in a position where those jobs are being stripped away because of the pandemic, and I understand that, and they're having to ask for help. But quite honestly, they deserve the help.
That's right.
So we're all being put in that space. And I think we all should step even further in that space where we learn to help one another. You don't have to go a mile away to help somebody. Go next door to your neighbors, see if they need something.
That's right.
You can offer them something. See if you can be of service to that person.
Even in your own home.
Even in your own home. We're all asking to be of service to one another.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, I'm going to ask this. What is our Marination Station for this week? You're already giving us so many amazing things, but what do you think would be the one task you want all of us to focus on this week around vulnerability?
I think the first thing that I would like for everyone to focus on this week around vulnerability, maybe sharing a new truth with somebody. Just peel back a little bit of the layer. You know, like we're all onions in this world. Peel back a little bit of the layer. Right. So maybe saying a new truth to someone. Being vulnerable requires you to tell the truth about some things. You know, my teacher, who teaches an awesome workout class, he always forces us, and not force, he does it with love.
Sure.
To write something about ourselves that we wouldn't normally share, whether it's about our journey in fitness, whether it's about our journey in health, how we eat, and all of those different things, because you start to empower yourself when you start to reveal truths about yourself. That's because right. If you're holding them in, you're hiding something. And we don't have time to do that. No. So for years, even though I had worked through all the pieces of my journey with that story, it was always encapsulated inside of me. But that's not going to do anything for anybody if I'm the only one living with it. I could have easily chosen to keep my cancer story quiet, but I knew that God had placed me in a position at that point to speak about my journey.
Yes.
And I'm glad I did, because I know that someone heard it, will read it, and it will help them.
That's right.
So just a little small truth about yourself. I think that's a great place to start.
We can do that. We're ready. You led the way. You led the way. That's like, let's just get to more truth during this time.
We're all drinking truth serums during this time.
Bring them on.
Bring them on, or the stream of love. Here, I'm gonna share this about me. Boom.
That's
it allows to have a ripple effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You vibrate on a different level now.
That's
and
right.
You want that. You want that. And then you come back and somebody shares something about themselves with you.
Yes.
We're all in relationships together, whether we know it or not.
That's right.
And particularly now, because now we're being asked to stand 6 feet apart. But when you walk past somebody, you're in a relationship with that person, because that person has to protect you and you have to protect that person. And you don't even know them.
We're in such school right now. You know what? It's like the school of life that's like, sorry, you humans weren't getting this.
Yeah.
Getting it. So here's literally everything. I just saw something about a sandstorm is coming. Like, I'm kind of obsessed with 2020. It's like, let's just get it done. Get it done. Give it to us.
Well, they say 2020 is clear vision. And 2020 is bringing us the clearest vision possible. Love thy neighbor. Treat people right. Do unto others as they do. I mean, we're taking it back to 5th grade. We're taking it back to kindergarten. Do unto others as they do unto you.
Yes.
Like, see me, hear me, understand me, love me, help me. Ask me a question if you need some assistance. Like all of those minute, small, little things we learned, and when we were children, we're getting back to one is what we're doing. We're getting back to that place where there was no judgment. We're getting back to that place where we didn't know anything but to do with either laugh, smile, or cry for no reason at all.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like the rebirth of all of us in 2020. And we need to get it right. We need to get it right because 2021 could be brutal for us if we don't.
I know. We both know that if we don't get this right now, it's going to come back even bigger.
Yep. Life will continue to bring you lessons if you don't get it.
I know that's so. Oh my God. We could talk about this for about 50 different episodes. I am so grateful.
This space has been so wonderful. I have such a wonderful time with you when I'm with you.
I
enjoy it.
I really do feel like another sister. I'm like, oh, a sister. Yes.
I'm so grateful for all the pieces of the puzzle that brought us together. I'm so grateful to Dion to bringing us to this connection. She's doing such great work. She has done Broadway Serve for at least, and two other women along with her have done Broadway Serves for about 8 years. She's been doing races. She's been doing clothing drives. She's been doing stuff with the Covenant House. She is a beautiful and powerful and gracious and kind and loving and selfless human being. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows how we came together. And then I want to honor Dion in this space because she's really doing wonderful work. And she's going to be bringing relationships together for many, many years to come. I mean, you and I are going to be sitting on the porch in 50 years talking about how we shared the mic.
That's right. That's how we shared the mic. And all the kids are all the new generation is going to be laughing like, that needed to happen? Yes, it did.
Yes, it needed to happen. It needed to happen because they just get it. You know what I mean? They just understand. They just understand, like, girl, I'm going to love you. Okay. Yeah, but we need some. We need back there. Yeah. But I'm grateful just for all of this, this experiences.
Thank you so much for joining us today and bringing us so much wisdom about vulnerability. You are such a light worker, and I am so grateful to know you and sing. Girl, you better just take us to church right now.
It's so wonderful doing this with you. It's like speaking to an old friend.
Come on. It's true. It's like, oh, that's my sister. I've known her forever. I just haven't seen you yet in this life.
Yes.
Actually, that was good. I might include that in the intro.
Yeah, that was good. I just haven't seen you in this life.
I just haven't seen you yet. And then, oh, there you are. Oh, right.